So next month we're getting an Injustice animated film, and just yesterday they released a 1-minute teaser trailer for it. And initially when I heard about this film, I thought, okay, this might actually be pretty cool. An Injustice movie. It's based on a comic series I really like. It's based on a video game that I really like. I haven't played the second one, but I've played the first one and I really enjoy it. But I have to, after seeing the trailer, I have to wonder, is this gonna suck too? Now, DC has not been impressive. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to rip the band-aid off. DC sucked recently. Other than the years 2017 to 2019, they haven't produced a good film since The Dark Knight back in 2008. Because what did we get in between 2008 and 2017, and then since 2019? Well, in that small gap, we had Green Lantern, Man of Steel, BVS, and Suicide Squad. And The Dark Knight Rises. Ouch. And what have we got since 2019 Shazam? Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and The Suicide Squad. Ew. And it's not even just in their live-action DCEU atrocities. Hell, 2019's Joker was terrible too, so there you go. It hasn't been since 2019, since April 2019, so... or March, whenever that movie came out. So, and it's not just their live-action films. Their animation has not been good either. The DC AMU kind of wrote themselves got kind of stuck in a ditch, and then they just gave up on it with Apocalypse War. Like, they didn't even end it. They just killed it off. And in a very insulting fashion. Because the DC AMU started out really good, but then the more films they made, they started to be just the same generic thing. They all kind of end up being on the same level of quality of, it's okay. And then every once in a while, you'd get some that were really good, like Flashpoint was really good, which was the first one. But then you have shit like Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, which was boring as hell. Both the Justice League Dark films were terrible. And I didn't care for the John Constantine movie, City of Demons or whatever. And TV, they've not been impressive. See, what have they got? They still got their CW shows, which are terrible. I already reviewed Season 7 of The Flash. Titans is still awful. I'm in season's like halfway through, and it's still bad. Teen Titans Go is still going. Kill me. So, and their video games, they haven't released a video game since Injustice 2, I don't think. So, I have to wonder, is DC screwed? And is the Injustice movie just not going to work? So, let's talk about the trailer. Trailer showed jack shit. This is a rated R movie, which makes sense. The video game was rated... Actually, I think the video game was rated T, more I think about it, but not the point. It's going to be a very, I guess, violent R-rated film, and that makes sense for the storyline it's adapting. But the trailer was so overly tame and showed jack shit. We got the Joker kidnapping and killing Lois Lane, Superman, I don't know, taking over the world, I guess, and then we get him going to the prison cell or whatever to kill the Joker while Batman's talking to him. All of this is the first 2 minutes of the Injustice video game. He kills the Joker in the very first cutscene, I'm pretty sure. I think it was the first one, but it was like 2 or 3 minutes in, he kills the Joker. So, already I can tell that they're dragging this out. And when you are adapting something like a video game, because it's saying based on the video game, so I can say it's adapting the video game, you should never have padding when adapting a game as long as Injustice is. Injustice isn't that long of a game. It's a game you could probably beat in like 6 hours. Assuming you don't suck at fighting games. So, you should have enough material for an hour-and-a-half long movie. Hell, you could have enough material for 3 movies. But I don't know why they feel the need to stretch out the first few minutes of the game. And that's the only thing they showed in the trailer. And I'm guessing that's going to be the majority of the film. I'm guessing the fight scenes are not going to be present, like between heroes aren't going to be present until like halfway through. And not only that, the animation looks so stilted and lifeless. Same thing, it's the same problem I had with the Killing Joke movie, which was terrible, by the way. Is that the animation was so stiff, is that the movement was barely an option. And it seems like they're just trying to copy comics panel to panel without adapting it for the new media, which is animation where you can move everything. Comics, you can't move anything. But in a movie, you can do so much more with it. In the trailer, like I said, all the motions were stiff and lifeless. The facial expressions were virtually non-existent. So, I don't know what's going on with this movie. But I'm a bit concerned now. Because especially this year, DC's been particularly embarrassing. Because like I already stated, The Flash Season 7 was terrible, both their live-action films were bad, one of them was a complete train wreck, and the other one was just bad. And Titans is still terrible, so I refuse to watch their other CW shows. I don't watch Supergirl, I don't watch Black Lightning, I don't watch Legends of Tomorrow. I refuse to associate myself with those. The only reason I'm still watching Flash is because it was the only one I had any interest in to begin with. Like, I can't even stomach an episode of Arrow, and people say that's supposed to be really good. I can't even get through an episode of it. It's so damn boring and so bad. So, I have to wonder, is DC just not going to be good anymore? Because let's look at next year's list of live-action films. The Batman, which is not connected to the DCEU, and the DCEU is the majority of the problem, so might be good, but I don't know. We'll have to. It is DC. They might find a way to fuck it up. The Flash, not particularly I don't have particular high hopes for that. I have a feeling that'll probably be pretty bad. Black Adam, I have no interest in whatsoever. None. DC League of Super Pets. Why does this exist? And then there's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Stupid title right off the bat, and it already doesn't help with the presence of Amber Heard. But even still, I am not entirely sure this is going to work out. Because we remember how good Wonder Woman was. Yeah, great. The Aquaman, the first one was great. Yeah, great. Wonder Woman was good too, and its sequel was trash. So why should Aquaman 2 be any different? It might be good. I don't want DC to suck. I want them to make good films. They just refuse to. They just refuse to make good films, because especially since they listen to the fan base who just want Snyder to make a bunch of shitty movies for them. And that's not what actual DC fans want. Actual DC fans want, good movies. They don't want more Zack Snyder edgelord garbage. Because there's a difference between a DC fan and a Snyder fan, and Snyder fans are possibly some of the worst human beings I've ever seen on the planet. DC fans, well, every fandom has toxicity to it. Have you seen the Harry Potter fan base? Holy crap! You say one negative thing about Harry Potter, they will throw a freaking tantrum. And same thing's true of Snyder fanboys, but I'm not really here to bitch about Snyder's films. I'm already doing a bunch of videos on why his Justice League, why it was a failure, and I've already got part 1 in the works, so I'm just doing this because I really have nothing to review right now. The next film I'm going to end up seeing is Dear Evan Hansen, I'm seeing Shang-Chi tomorrow, but other than that, it's not going to be until the 24th when Dear Evan Hansen comes out, and so that's what's today, the 9th? 10th, so it's another 2 weeks, basically. So I've got a while before I'm going to be reviewing anything new. I'm going to get back into my cinematic disasters and my diamonds in the rough and all that stuff, but honestly, I'm having trouble kind of coming up with ones for them. A lot of the ones I really, really wanted to do, I've already done. I did, for Diamonds in the Rough, which is going to be the next one. I already did Amazing Spider-Man. I already did Percy Jackson. I'm going to do the sequels to those, of course, but I've already done those. I did Rise of the Guardians. I did Solo. I did all those other ones. So that's why I just kind of made this video quick, because I have to wonder, is DC just overly screwed? Because everybody's saying how good the Suicide Squad was. I don't get it. I legitimately don't get it. And I know I've seen some other people on the internet who don't get it either. I've seen some people like post up comments on like Reddit or Instagram or stuff like that and saying stuff like, why are people liking this as much as they are? And I don't get it. I mean, the Suicide Squad wasn't nearly as much of a disaster as half the DCEU, but Jesus Christ. So yeah, I don't know what's going. Their comics, I haven't read a DC comic in years because I don't really have time to go out and read comics. Like go out to a comic book store, buy and read comics. I don't really have time for that. I have other things to do with my life. Their upcoming video games, Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, they look okay. Like, I haven't seen much for them because they had like one trailer back at DC Fandom last year. I know they're going to get a new one for Fandom this year, but I'll probably make a follow-up video to this next month after DC Fandom comes out, after DC Fandom happens, which is the 16th of October, and then Injustice comes out 3 days after that, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens then. So, yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like button down below, subscribe for more reviews and rants like this, and honestly, where do you think the DC franchise is going? Do you see it going uphill at any point? Because Marvel's still kicking their ass. Marvel had Black Widow earlier this year, which was really good, and apparently Shang-Chi is one of their best, which just came out and I'm seeing tomorrow. And Eternals looks good. Freaking Spider-Man No Way Home looks awesome, and I am someone who is known for hating the MCU's portrayal of Spider-Man in his solo films, and it actually looks really cool. So that just shows how badly Marvel is kicking their ass. Hell, Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, looks freaking awesome. And DC still looks like shit. When you're getting beaten by Venom, and I'll throw Morbius in there too, because that actually doesn't look too bad. If you're being beat by Sony, Marvel, you need to step up your game. So yeah, that's all I got for this. Yeah, now if you'll excuse me, I have to go finally make a new Diamond in the Rough. And it's for the MCU, just thought I'd mention that.